I was going to say your journey was a difficult one, though. It's cancer, it's all this, it's years and years. I think that, everyone's journey is going to be incredibly unique, but hopefully we do not all need to go through disease and suffering to get there.
Yes.
And I think that right now, there's a lot of confusion out there. There's a lot of people that feel lost. There's a lot of people that are very mixed up in all the different pieces of information. Think about social media, the news, people telling you, always coming at you, so much information. And then you sit there and you feel very confused about what to do. And again, I don't want people to sit in their confusion and suffering till they reach a point of cancer, severe disease, mental illness and everything. How do we then make sense of it without having to go through such a radical journey as yours, which still showed you the way, but we don't want that for everyone. How do we work through the confusion and so much information being leveled at us and then thrown at us that we can find our authentic self? Is because, you can make the case, well, yeah, go out into nature, really cut yourself off from all this and just sit there and meditate like a Buddhist monk until you come to some sort of realization and find that true heartfelt spiritual connection. But we know that that's probably not too realistic for the majority of people. So what are the tools and things that you can apply to cut through the confusion and the mass information we are receiving and tap into our divinity and that higher intelligence, not what people are trying to manipulate you with?
Love that. Well, I think the first and the foremost, and what feels really obvious, but we never do, is to slow the F down.
Yeah.
Slow down and step away from the news, the media, the social, the incoming, right? It's like this constant barrage, and anybody can do that. I work with a lot of really incredible women leaders who are overseeing huge corporations. Close your door for 5 minutes and close your eyes for 3, right? We all have the power to make little choices like this. It's just like making little steps. We can make these little choices. And it's a matter of retraining ourselves to incorporate these things into our lifestyle instead of treating them like, and I facilitate retreats, so I don't want to give a negative spin on retreats, but instead of like going to a retreat for a week, right? And you're going to go find yourself for the retreat, which is super helpful. It's how can I begin to fold into my everyday little stillness, little quiet. And I think, CASPAR, asking ourselves the question, what's true for me? What is true for me? And I feel like collectively, this is where we're being invited, right? This is where we're being invited, because for each of us to discover this inner sovereignty, this inner authority, this inner sense of authentic power, we must begin turning inward to notice, to discover, before we can even begin to access this power, right? But that will require us to become aware of the places outside of us where we have invested our power.
Yeah. We're running 1 million miles a minute, and you're never going to hear the messages, especially the ones inside, when we're seeking outside validation as well and going this quickly. And I do think we've kind of gotten to this point where we're not even allocating and finding the time to be with ourselves to ask questions like that. What makes me happy, right? We're constantly outside.
We can find 15 minutes to post crap on Facebook, though.
Oh, we can find a lot of time to binge watch, Netflix and do this and that, right? everyone has 24 hours in a day. Nothing changes there. It's how you utilize and what you prioritize them in. So when I hear someone that's, lost, confused, and, going towards a sick life and saying they don't have time to change that, to turn it around, that's a person I see that's probably going to become a patient of ours very soon, because they will be very sick and be forced to slow it down because their body won't be able to, right? And in some ways, that's a good thing. The body is saying, we're forcing you. This is why we get sick with an acute cold or something like that, the flu. We're bedridden. And many a times is because we're living too fast, too stressful, too everything. Our immune system dropped. We got sick. And this is our body's way of saying, you're going to be in bed because I'm not going to even allow you to get out of it. We won't have the strength to do that. This is what we need collectively. Your body, spirit, everything needs a reset, needs a break. And so many times I tell people, the count disease, the illness, whatever it is, as a blessing and an opportunity to slow down. It's forcing you to. And then make the most of it. See how you could change and be so introspective. But we're scared to be introspective. We're scared to ask those questions.
Yeah.
You think it's because of what we will actually find within ourselves, that when we realize the power within us, that's almost a scary revelation?
Yeah, it is a scary revelation. But I think before we even get to that, we have to muddle our way through all of the emotional debris that's in between our consciousness and, our true self. And that also can be very uncomfortable. And, I know a lot of the time for myself, my emotional debris will surface when I get quiet, when I slow down, when I go into that place of stillness. And most people are afraid of that because they don't know what to do with it or how to deal with it. And they are under the false perception that they're going to get sucked into the oblivion and never come back. Right. But Hawkins talks in that book, Letting Go. I don't want to quote it because I won't get it right. But the amount of time that it takes to actually allow an emotion to process through our emotional body is significantly shorter than what we might imagine. It's like 90 seconds or something. And we can do anything for 90 seconds, right? I posted a YouTube video just the other day about being uncomfortable. And we tell ourselves that we're not capable of being uncomfortable. And that's just not true. It just isn't. Do we like being uncomfortable? No, we don't. Are we going to volunteer to go be uncomfortable? Probably not. However, let's get ourselves thinking with the truth and the power that comes from knowing that I'm capable of being uncomfortable. I'm capable of experiencing some uncomfortability in my life. And I'm willing to be uncomfortable if that's going to let me release a heavy weight that I've been carrying around, for half my life. That's in the way of me realizing my full potential.
And you know how I know humans are fine with being uncomfortable? Because so many of them pay money for gyms and put themselves in pain every freaking day. And they have no problem with that. It's like the good feeling of the burn. I can't move afterwards. Oh my goodness, this is hurting so much. I'm sweating. It's uncomfortable. And they do it every day and they pay for it. And they pay people to do it to them as well. And then you get really happy with the results because there's a visual outcome of something that's, in your mind, a beautiful thing. And, in some ways it is. You've sculpted yourself into something new. And there is something beautiful to it. But that is exactly what you need to do in other facets of your life. Be uncomfortable. Make it burn a little bit, no pain, no gain sort of thing is somewhat true.